this custom agent processes unread emails every day and suggests replies. For example, if I analyze a run and then I open the emails data source, which is where emails are saved automatically whenever they are received in the inbox, you see how if an email is a direct email that's addressed to me and that the custom agent thinks it needs a response, then there is a comment left on that email with the response. Further, I could automate creating the draft in Gmail or Notion Mail, or even sending that email automatically, which at the moment I'm not doing because it is not something that I wish to do. This data source is also helpful to analyze the email patterns, how many emails are received per week, per month. I can also easily turn an email input because often emails contain implications of actions that take time and effort. So if I want to do that, then for example, I can easily click this button here, turn into task, and it creates a task in the tasks data source in my workspace that I then process when it's time to do it. When you create a custom agent, you can see here that is the name, the icon with some new icons here, or you can upload your own. There is a recent activity that can also be exported to CSV and filtered by failed or successful runs. Here, I can just chat with the custom agent, just like I would chat with any LLM, such as ChatGPT, Claude, any other thing. And the custom agent would respect the instructions and the connections to run its actions. On the settings panel, there is the custom agent configuration. The triggers are when the custom agent starts. There are three main types of triggers. One is when you chat with the custom agent, there's a default one and always present. At any time you can chat with the custom agent. The second type of trigger is on an automated schedule. For example, this agent runs daily at 8 a.m., but I can change that time here on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, etc. Or the third type of trigger is when the agent is mentioned or when something happens in a specific connected app, such as Slack, when there is a message posted, an emoji reaction, or the agent is mentioned in Slack. When something happens in Notion, in Calendar, or in Mail, these are all Notion products, then the agent might be triggered and do its actions. It is okay if there is just a new chat trigger. You don't need to have multiple triggers in here activated at any given time. It is also possible to have multiple triggers, however, for the same custom agent. The instructions is where I can specify what I want the agent to do. This is like the system prompt that you might configure when you're building an AI agent in a more traditional tool, or that's custom built for your own use case. Because this is part of Notion, instructions is a page, which means you can mention pages, you can mention databases or data sources, you can add linked views and all the other blocks available in Notion via the / command. In the setup stage of a custom agent, you can also ask AI to create instructions, create the connections, and set up all the logic for you. You can see here in the example instructions here for the email processing agent, there are some links to a database where all the emails get saved automatically, and then some other specific instructions. In my experience, instructions do require iterations over time, especially when you're building something new, as you will need to judge the outcome and then adjust the instructions accordingly to make sure that it meets your requirements and expectations about the quality. Because custom agents can run autonomously and take actions on your behalf across the Notion workspace or in third-party tools, you can connect them to other tools so that it has access. It can have just read access or read and write access to third-party tools. Some are natively connected here. Others you might connect via their MCP server, which is available in many software tools, and it's been expanding a lot. And the MCP is a way to programmatically let the AI access your data and take actions on your data using the official API of that tool. It is an official protocol that was launched a few years ago by Anthropic specifically, and it's now been widely adopted across all software tools. So when you go to tools and access, you can first specify web access. That is, when there is a URL, either in the chat or in an email, for example, here, do you want the agent to access the web, to do research on that URL, or research more generally on the web if there is a query that requires it or that benefits from research? If so, then you can turn on web access. You can also restrict to domains to avoid possible security threats and risks of scraping web pages that might contain malware. Then you can set the access level of the custom agent in the Notion workspace specifically. You can think of this like sharing specific pages with a user in Notion as a guest. You can selectively choose those pages and selectively choose the access level that the user has on those pages. In this example, all the pages shared with everyone in this workspace can be viewed by this custom agent. And then the emails data source, which is where all the emails get automatically saved, that's where the agent can comment, because the goal of this custom agent is to draft email replies in Notion so that then I can check them, use them, refine them, and see useful suggestions. And I can then add pages selectively across the entire Notion workspace and select the access level. Then I can set other tools. In this use case, I set up the mail connection available here under adding connections. And you can either connect Notion Mail or Gmail. Both are available here. Then we can add additional addresses if needed by following the connection wizard. And you can see that here I set only read access. But to go a bit more action-oriented and extreme, I could have the custom agent create drafts for email replies directly in the Notion Mail or Gmail inbox, or even automatically send emails in those clients. So it is possible to also add editing access. And the same goes for calendar. In this case, I added the calendar connection. You can see there is Google Calendar, Notion Calendar, and Apple Calendar that are currently supported in here. And when I do so, I can select the calendar accounts. In this case, it is Notion Calendar, and then the access level, which in this case is read. But if I want to, I'll also allow writing, for example, creating events based on emails that I received that might need action items, or if I want to have deep work blocks scheduled in the calendar, then this can be useful, certainly. And when I go to add connections, you can see there are some native connections here, such as Slack, Amplitude, Attio, Figma, and some others. And when I click on them, I can connect my account following the authentication process. And when I have these connections, I can then easily take action across those tools or read data across those tools via custom agents, which means it can be automatically done, or when I chat with the custom agent. If there is a third-party tool that's not supported natively, I can connect the custom MCP, assuming that that tool has an MCP server. For example, when I add a custom MCP, let's assume I want to add Make, the automation tool. The first thing to do is I need to search for the MCP URL of that tool. So I'm searching Google for the Make MCP server, and I find it here. And then I can see the streamable HTTP. That's what I need here because I need the URL. Then I'm going to go to connect using OAuth section. And here I can select Cursor, for example, that uses a similar method as Notion. So here it says use the following URL. So this is the URL on the Make MCP server. I'm going to copy it, go back to Notion, paste the URL, and I can name this. MCP servers added to a custom agent apply only to that custom agent. They are not saved globally, at least currently. So if you want to also use the Make MCP in a separate custom agent in Notion, you will need to redo this process again. So I can set the name here, Make MCP. Then I can select the authentication method. This one as well. I can look for it in the official documentation of the tool, which is OAuth. So I'm going to select that and then connect. And this will open up a dialog that allows me to log in into Make, select my organization, and then have access to these scenarios. Once I connect my account and select the organization, I can then select what kind of actions to enable in the MCP connection in Notion. So I want to run scenarios. And then here for each endpoint or tool, I can select view only access, modify, and then for scenarios, run, which is already there. And then for scenarios, I want to have view. I want to allow it to view connections, webhooks, view everything, but not edit those things. I can add these settings at any time. And now the connection will appear right here. I can delete it at any time. I can reconnect it if there is a change in the MCP server authentication method or something else that needs reconnection, which in my experience doesn't happen often. And then you can see in this example, the make MCP groups the different tools available into 3 buckets: read tools, write tools, and resources. Resources are general resources in here. And then write tools are tools that allow the make MCP, that would allow the Notion custom agent to run scenarios. And then here there are all the scenarios listed. And for read tools, these are all the tools that allow the agent to read data from the app, in this case, make. For example, listing scenarios is a read tool because it doesn't make any changes in my make organization. It just lists scenarios and their configuration. So for each group and for each tool, I can enable or disable it. And then I can also select whether I want to run them automatically. So the custom agent can run these tools automatically without asking me, or if I want the custom agent to always ask before using a certain tool. For me, I often like to keep always ask on write tools, especially if there is some sensitive data to work with. I don't want the custom agent to randomly make edits in a make scenario or in data in third-party software without first asking for my consent, at least at this stage. Of course, here there is the degree to which you are comfortable with that flexibility for the custom agent, the iterations that you've gone through to see the quality of the output, because over time you might improve the quality of the output to a degree that you're confident about allowing the custom agent to automatically run edits on different tools as well. When making edits, we can then save here. Otherwise, they are not saved to the custom agent version. Finally, you can select the model. That's the AI model that powers the custom agent. Currently, there is Claude Sonnet and Opus. These are the latest models of these tools. Families by Anthropic, Claude AI. There is Gemini 3 Pro, which is also the latest model from Gemini Google, and GPT 5.2, the latest model from ChatGPT or OpenAI. These are updated according to the releases of new models by these companies here. In the future, there might be additional providers available, which I think would be welcome. The default, usually when you build a custom agent, is auto. That means that's the custom agent's choice. So there isn't one specific model that's used every time, but rather the custom agent will decide the model based on the type of request, although there is no documentation about how this works currently. I personally find that Claude Opus 4.6 has been the best performing so far. And finally, on the advanced section, we can set Allowlist URLs. These are URLs that the agent can access anytime without asking for permissions. And you can see here we can use wildcards, asterisk, for example, to signal that the custom agent can search across the whole domain there and all the subdomains included within it. That's a bit more an advanced setting. It is especially useful for security purposes, which is a big topic in building AI agents, especially because they can take action across tools, hence exposing a certain higher degree of risk compared to a traditional LLM chat where you just chat with a large language model. At the top right on the settings panel, there is the shared menu. And this one allows you to share a custom agent with your team members. The idea behind custom agents is to create them once, and then you can share them across the team for general use. So you can see the value in this model is that you can easily scale the value, the time savings, the cost savings of a custom agent when you use it across your team. For example, you set up a specialized marketing agent to draft campaigns or refine your scripts, and that can be used by the marketing team across multiple campaigns over time and across multiple stages. And the value accrues over time. And as people use them, you can refine instructions, check the quality of the outcome, and then that integrates the custom agent even more in your team's workflows. So you can see how by default, only I, the creator of the custom agent, have access to it, but then I can select who else has access to it. Either everyone in the workspace, that is workspace members, so paid seats in the workspace, or I can invite specific people via email right here by tapping the email or tapping the name, and they will show up here if they are part of your workspace. So these are your team members that you want to share the custom agent with. And then they will see the custom agent on the left sidebar menu, just like you do under the agents section. On the three dots, you can copy a link to send it to someone, you can delete it, and you can view the version history. And the version history is a compilation of the versions of the custom agent across all the changes that you made. So every time you make changes and you save those changes, a new version is saved in here, similar to pages in Notion, where you can go to the version history and then restore previous versions that you can navigate here, as you can see. And if I want to restore the previous version, I can just restore it right there via this button, and it goes back to it. When it comes to analyzing the quality of the outcome of custom agent runs, you can go to recent activity. And when you click on a recent activity, you will see the process that the custom agent followed. So this one, for example, I see it was Saturday, February 14th. The trigger was an automatic trigger, which is the cron scheduler that I showed you earlier. So at 8 a.m., the custom agent started, and then it followed 5 steps. Here there are some thoughts, so the chain process followed by the agent, and then he searched the emails data source to find the unread emails, listed the emails, thought, searched, and then output some of these things, some of the direct emails that were received, as opposed to promotional or generic emails not directly addressed to me. And then it follows certain steps, process them, and you can see when there are errors, also those errors show up here. And then the other thing was the custom agent edit suggested replies inside of those email pages in Notion, which I can find in the emails data source. So this is a way to look at the history log and analyze runs, to troubleshoot them, to check for quality, to improve quality, and refine the instructions. A more advanced way could be to specify in the instructions to save every output or process of a run in a dedicated data source in Notion, and then use that data source for evaluating the outcomes and the quality of the output. So you might have a process where you manually review that data source and then leave comments on what you think the quality is, have a checkbox, have emojis, a scale from 1 to 5 on the quality, and then the custom agent can adjust accordingly to that if you specify those things in the instructions of the custom agent. So those are currently the available tools for troubleshooting and history log. When it comes to pricing, custom agents consume credits. Credits are at the workspace level. So every time an agent runs, depending on the complexity of the task, how many connections there are, how long the system prompt is, how many steps are taken, the custom agent will consume a certain number of credits. And those will be displayed in the workspace admin panel, so you can monitor them easily. For the first 2 months at launch, custom agents will be free for everyone in the business and enterprise plan. After that, the credit consumption will start in those plans. There aren't more details about the credit system yet, because that's a very new thing implemented in Notion, so it is not available to show and see how it works in details yet.